Did you see the woman's butt in those shorts? She should not be wearing that. Not a good look for someone her size. Can you believe how big that guy is over there eating that burger? He clearly has no business eating food like that. I mean, it's obvious why he has a weight problem. If I was that big, I'd never let myself eat like that. I feel so fat and disgusting in my outfit today. These are stigmatizing comments. These are the comments that fuel negative assumptions about and biases of people living in larger bodies. And ironically, these are the same comments that actually lead people to have worse health outcomes, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. It's Weight Stigma Awareness Week. Hi, my name is Marcy Anderson Evans, and I'm a registered dietitian in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And I want to share with you some information about Weight Stigma Awareness Week, so thank you so much for staying tuned. Stigma is all about judgment, bias, bullying, nasty comments and beliefs about other people based on a certain factor, whether it be age, race, ethnicity, gender orientation, and, of course, weight stigma. So I've developed this video for a couple of reasons. One, hope to raise your awareness about weight stigma, and two, give you one or two little tips on how to make some changes in your own internalized weight stigma today. So weight stigma, I have to break the bad news to you. Internalized weight stigma is something that we all have. Yep, we all have it. And the reason we have it is because we live, probably most of us listening to this video, in a westernized country that really values a certain look and aesthetic and appearance, and is built on a medical model that is really preoccupied and concerned with weight as a factor in health. Now, the bad news is that the concerns about weight and health have been morphed into judgments and negative biases and assumptions in such a way that are creating more harm than good. So there are some good reasons to start to look at your own internalized weight stigma and weight bias. And that's, you get one thing out of this video, something I'd hope you'd open up your heart and mind to doing. And really, it's pretty simple. It's just about taking some moments each day to notice, what thoughts do I have, or what words do I say, or beliefs that I share about someone who's in a larger body, whether it's your own body or someone else's body. And once you start to notice it, tip number one, try to zip your lip. If you start saying a negative comment, saying something that's judging or just unkind, don't say it. It doesn't need to be said. And now the second reason why I would encourage you to zip your lip isn't just because it doesn't need to be said, but because it's not helpful. Some people like to make the case that paying attention to weight and really targeting weight as the problem is really important because of this obesity epidemic that we have. But it actually turns out with some considerable research that that's actually not true. What the research that we're beginning to see is that efforts focused on weight aren't only not effective the vast majority of the time, but they actually are creating more harm than good. So we see this in the research, and a lot of the research that I'm citing I have pulled from the Red Center. So you can go to yukonredcenter.org and go under their tab on weight stigma. So I highly recommend you go check it out because they really do a nice job of kind of pulling all of this data together, and a lot of the researchers who've done a lot of this really important research on weight stigma. So what we see actually in the data is that when weight is the focus rather than health behavior change, is that things start to get worse for people. Mood gets worse, so depression gets worse, anxiety, suicidality, sleep problems, bullying gets worse. One of the statistics always really makes me so sad is that bullying due to weight is the number one cause of bullying or form of bullying for school-aged children. And I think we all can agree that bullying in any form for any reason is just not okay. We also see that people who are focused on weight and feel targeted or stigmatized because of their weight actually become more hopeless. So they're less capable of making health behavior change, like eating more fruits and vegetables and exercising more. And we actually see that there are also some economic ramifications, and we see that there are some discrepancies in terms of pay. So people who live in larger bodies actually make less money. And here's a statistic I came across that I just learned that was so shocking and sad to me, is that college-aged women who are in larger bodies across the board receive less financial support from their families to be able to go to college as compared to those same college-age women who are in actually smaller bodies receive more financial support. So we see this discrepancy happening in so many different areas. So hopefully that's compelling enough that the next time you feel like focusing on weight is the most important thing, remember that it's not really a question of whether that is true or untrue, but a question of whether or not that approach is helpful or unhelpful. And what we're beginning to see, as I have said, is that a lot of the data shows that it's just not helpful. So I hope this video has been helpful to you in learning a little bit more about weight stigma, why it's important, and some simple ways for you to start checking your own weight stigma, noticing when you have thoughts, challenging them, and certainly not saying them out loud. I hope this video has been useful to you and that you'll also consider sharing it with some other people in your life. Thanks so much for staying tuned, and I hope you have a really great day.